By default, when you first start AutoCAD, it starts a default drawing. If I start a new drawing, I get my Select Template box, which allows me to select a template from the list. Already selected is the acad.dwt, which is our standard drawing template. We have other options for starting drawings in AutoCAD, but these have to be changed as part of the startup options. To change this, I'm going to type from the keyboard on the command line startup and hit enter. Right now you can see that the startup value is set to 0, which gives me my default template dialog box. We're going to set this to 1 and hit enter. Now when I start a new drawing, I get my interactive Create a New Drawing dialog box, which gives me an option to open a drawing, start from scratch. In either imperial or metric, I can still start a drawing from a template, and here's my acad.dwt, or I can use a wizard, which will step me through setting up my drawing limits. So now we'll start a new drawing. And in my Create New Drawing dialog box, I'm going to choose Start from Scratch, Metric, and say OK. Next, I'll set my units. For my menu browser, I'll go to Format, choose Units. I want decimal, and under Precision, I want no decimal places, and I'll say OK. Next, I'm going to set the snap and grid spacing. I need my drafting settings. I'm going to go on the menu browser to Tools and scroll down to the drafting settings. In my drafting settings dialog box, I have a tab for grid and snap. I'm going to turn on the grid and snap. Also notice that you can toggle these on using the F9 to turn the snap on, F7 to turn the grid on from the keyboard. I want my spacing to be 10 on both my snap and my grid. So I'll say OK. Notice that down here on the status bar in my drawing aids, those two drawing aids are lit up, meaning that they're active. Next, we're going to set the drawing limits, and we're going to set them in such a manner that my origin or 0 point will be closer to the middle of my drawing area. To do this, I'm going to go to the menu browser, to Format, and choose Drawing Limits. For the lower left corner, I'm going to change from 0, 0 to negative 200 on the X and negative 150 on the Y. That, you know, will move it to the left and down, and I'll hit enter. Now for the upper right, I'm going to choose positive 200 and 150. Then to view this, I'm going to do a zoom all. So I'm going to enter Z from the keyboard and enter to activate my zoom, and A for all option, and hit enter. And now you can see that my icon has moved to the center of the screen. That's my 0, 0 point, or my origin. We're now going to start our drawing by establishing circles in the center and on each side. Because our UCS icon or origin is now in the middle, we can use that 0, 0 point for drawing our first circle. So I'll go to my Draw tool panel and choose Circle Center Radius, and I want this to start at the origin, so I'll say 0, 0, and this is going to have a radius of 50. I'm going to right click and repeat circle, and I know that I want to be 40 units up and 70 units to the right from my origin, so I'll enter 70, 40 for my next circle, and the radius is 25. My third and last circle, I'm going to right click, repeat circle, and its coordinate value is negative 50 on the X, comma, negative 60 on the Y, hit enter, and you can see that my default from the last inside the angle brackets was 25. I'm just going to hit enter to accept that, and we've roughed out our circles. Next, we need to add some lines that are tangent to these two circles. I'm going to use an object snap to make those tangent, and I'm going to access my object snaps from my object snaps toolbar. I'm going to go on top of the quick access toolbar, right click the mouse, and I can see I have a choice of toolbars. Under AutoCAD, I have a list of all the toolbars that are available. I'm looking for Object Snap, and I'll click on it to open it up. Now I'm going to start a line command, and I need a tangent Object Snap. So I'm going to click on Tangent, and I come down and I can see my Tangent Object Snap icon light up. I'm going to click to establish that endpoint or on that tangent, and these are single use right now, so I'm going to click again and pick that tangent point, right click, and hit enter to end the command. We'll do the same thing on the other side. A line tangent to this circle and tangent to this circle. Next, we're going to draw some circles that are tangent to these circles. So on my draw panel, I'm going to choose tangent, tangent, radius. When I click and come over to this circle, I see my tangent icon light up. So there's a deferred tangent. On this side, here's a deferred tangent. And now, down on the command line, it's asking me for the radius. We're going to say 50 and establish that circle. Now I need another one over here, so we'll do the same thing. I have tangent, tangent, radius on the panel right now, so we'll say deferred tangent here and here. This time the radius is 40, enter, and we've established those. Next, we're going to trim off the parts of these circles that we don't need. On my Modify tool panel, I'm going to choose Trim, and it asks me to select Cutting Edges. So for cutting edges, we'll select this tangent and the circle, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I can select the objects that I would like trimmed. When I click on that, it trims it back to those boundaries that were established. I'll click here, and that's trim back. I'm going to hit enter to end the command, and I'll hit enter to bring back my trim. We need to trim this circle right here. I'll hit enter and trim off that circle. Now I'm going to hit trim again, and I have the option of, instead of selecting individual items, I can just hit enter and everything has been selected as a cutting edge. And then I can trim off the rest of these items quickly. Next, we need to establish some polygons on our object. I'm going to choose polygon from my draw tool panel, and it prompts me for the number of sides. We'll enter 6, and then it wants the center of the polygon. It's going to sit right at the origin, so we'll say 0, 0, and it wants to know whether it's inscribed or circumscribed. Generally, if I know the distance across the points, it's inscribed. In this case, I know the distance across the flats of this polygon, so I'm going to use circumscribed. I'll enter C, and wants to know the radius of the circle. We'll say 30, and hit enter. I need to establish a square at this location, and the center of my polygon this time is going to be the center of this existing circle. So I'm going to start a polygon, establish 4 sides, and for its center point I'm going to use a center snap, and as I come over the edge of this circle you can see the center light up. I'll click, and now it wants to know if it's inscribed or circumscribed. I'm going to right click the mouse and say circumscribed, and then I'm going to turn on my snap, and snap that to a grid snap right above my center point. Next, we need a concentric circle down here at this end. So I'm going to get a center radius circle. Again, I want the center point, so I'll take a center snap, and I can see that light up, so I'll click, and for the radius I'll enter 10. Now that my RockerArm project is finished, I'm going to click on Save, and in my documents, in my ACAD projects, I'm going to save this as Project 2 RockerArm.